good people, welcome. So in 2021 I have three major areas of focus for my life, and one of them is definitely financial. Within my 5-year plan, I consider this a pivotal year towards achieving some of my larger goals that I hope to happen by the end of next year. Wow, that's crazy. I've already 4 years into a 5-year plan. Time flies. My financial plans for the year are pretty ambitious, but if I remain steady and on my grind, I should be able to achieve my goals by the end of this year. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through each one of my financial goals for the year, or they're really milestones within the larger goal. I'm going to share with you how I plan to fund that goal, as well as the trackers I'm using to help me look at the progress as the year goes. So when I moved to Atlanta, I accrued a fair amount of debt, and I knew I would. I kind of planned for it because I had to break a lease. That was expensive. And then I had to move my entire life in about 3 weeks time. And that was expensive. One of the reasons I moved in with my sister is to cut down on some of those costs. When I moved, I also took a hit as far as my emergency fund goes. And so I wanted to refund the months that I lost instead of paying off debt. So I pretty much let that debt kind of stay where it was. I paid interest and the minimum, so I didn't have to pay it down. But in 2021, I'm going to pay it down. My goal is to completely pay everything off. So I plan to do this in 6 months time, and that's pretty quick. But I'm able to do it because I do live with my sister and my expenses are pretty low. I do pay them a rent fee, but it's low. It's definitely nowhere near what it would be and what it will be when I move out. And so this is going to happen from my salary, the money I receive every month from my 9-to-5 job. I'm just going to make sure that I'm throwing a lot of money from that at my debt. And in 6 months time, that should pretty much get rid of it. I really want to do this before I move so that, one, I have more freed up income, right? Because I won't be able to give as much of my salary because my expenses will go way up. So I'm really going to focus on not spending as much so that I can pay off my debt in 6 months time. And then number 2, speaking of my emergency fund, I'm going to save 3 months worth of expenses. So as part of my 5-year plan, I am working to save 1 year of expenses as my emergency fund, mainly because I actually have a cousin who lost his job and he had 1 year of savings, and so he could not find a job. This was the middle of the 2008 recession. He couldn't find a job for like almost 10 months, and because of that he was fine. And so that's always stuck with me, and so that's why I want a year's fund of expenses. And so I had 6 months because that's how the years have gone. And then when I moved, I depleted some of that. And then last year I focused on retaining that 6 months. So this year I want to get to the next step, which is 3 more months will get me 9 months of expenses. So if I do that, I will still be on track to have a year's worth of expenses saved by the end of my 5-year plan. And so that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm actually basing this off of my future expenses. So initially, this was based off of my expenses where I was at the time. My rent was not cheap, right? Now my rent is cheap. And so I have based this off of the averages for Atlanta, renting an apartment or townhome or condo in Atlanta, like how much utilities, internet, all that, plus my regular expenses. I've just kind of added it all together. And so it has raised because it's more expensive to rent here than where I was living in Florida. But that's fine. My goal is still 3 months. It's just, I think, a larger number than it was before. I plan to fund this goal through sponsorships this year. I had a good number of sponsorships on the channel last year, and I often turn sponsorships down, and I also don't pursue them. But if I actually pursue them this year, I will be able to reach my goal. I will be able to reach my goal coupled with some of my salary. So between sponsorships and my salary, I hope to fund this goal completely by the end of the year. So you will see a few more sponsorships on the channel than usual, but I'm not about to make it an ad channel. Don't worry, you won't see a sponsorship every single video, but please don't be mad at me when you do see them because I have financial goals. Number 3 is to add exactly $333 each month to my sinking fund account. So for anyone who doesn't know, sinking funds are those expenses that are not consistently happening every month within your life, but they do happen annually. So for me, one of those is car insurance. I pay my car insurance every 6 months. And one way I make that happen is by saving money each month so that when it's time for me to pay for the next 6 months of car insurance, I don't have to take a large hit to my income that month. Instead, that money has just been sitting in a savings account and I can just pay my car insurance with that money. And so I do have an amount that I do push over to my savings account every month for fixed sinking funds, right? It's typical, right? It's all of my memberships, like Junior League and things. It's car insurance, it's contacts, all those things that I know are coming every single year. However, my variable sinking funds, I really haven't been keeping up with since I moved here. And so I want to go ahead and put exactly $333 in my account so that I'm really preparing for those variable sinking funds again. And variable sinking funds for me are ones that don't really have a number, but are going to occur eventually. So for example, my car. Normally I save each month for future car repairs. My car I just got last year, so it's not going to have anything major happen to it, hopefully, for another couple of years, but I want to save $75 a month. So when something significant does happen, I once again don't have to take a huge hit. I don't have to take it out of my emergency fund, etc. That money can come from this sinking fund account. Another one, a variable one, is Christmas. I save for Christmas, right? Normally, I didn't really do a good job of saving for it in 2020, but this year I'm going to save a certain amount each month so that when Christmas rolls around, I have money sitting in my sinking fund account to use for gifts at Christmas because my family is large. For my variable sinking funds, like I said, there's no set dollar amount, but I found over the years that it's really useful for me to continually save for these things because eventually they will occur. So how am I going to save $333? Affiliate marketing. I do make money through affiliate marketing every month, and I'm going to make sure that I push that money to my sinking funds account. Now, there is no guarantee that I will get $333 every month. That's just the goal, right? To get at least some affiliate income. And like I said, this is not something that has a set dollar amount. So I have goals, but if I don't reach it, as long as I reach at least $75 a month, I'll be happy. And so it's one of those that I want to save that amount, but I'm not going to take it from my salary, and I'm not going to take it from sponsorships. It's just going to be what it's going to be based on what I receive. And I do want to thank everyone who uses my links, everyone who takes the time to go in the description box and like click my Amazon link before they go and buy something on Amazon. I really appreciate you. Or anyone who uses one of my links to purchase something that I recommend, I really, really thank you because you are helping me out. And then another one that I've mentioned before that I won't really mention much because it's not happening at this moment, but I need to start saving for it, is a down payment for a home of my own. I've shared in my 5-year plan video that by the end of next year, I do want to buy something or be in the process of buying a home of my own. And so that's going to require a down payment. And I had been saving and it's there. But after talking to my financial planner, I decided to wait and not buy anything this year. So what I'm going to do is save a bigger down payment than what I was originally intending to. So I want to have at least 20% of my projected mortgage cost saved. And so part of that is also I have to open another savings account to throw that into, because I've housed it in my emergency fund account just because I'm not touching it, but I would like to separate them so I can see them increase separately. How am I funding this? Well, I am going to use my consulting money, and I'm not talking about the consults I do for natural hair. Anyone who's new, I consult with nonprofit organizations, usually generally around development, right? And so I take some jobs every year, not many, but in 2021, this year, I am going to take more than normal. I'm going to take enough to meet the goal that I want to meet. I do charge a fair wage for my level of expertise. I do have a couple of master's degrees, I have some certifications, and I'm just good at it. And so I don't charge pennies. And so if I take a certain number of consults within the year, I'll meet this goal. The only hesitation I have is that I'm a busy person. And so this cannot get in the way of my work and some of the other opportunities that I'm participating in this year. And so I'm not married to the idea of increasing the consulting I do by a lot. It's just going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to end up with the amount I end up with because anyone who does consulting will tell you these projects can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I'm going to be careful to stop at a particular number so that I don't burn myself out. But I will be reaching out to some of my previous clients and really doing what I need to do to make sure that I can meet this goal. So how am I tracking these goals? Well, there are a few ways. One, I love using Evernote. It's free. It comes with Apple products for free. Like you could just download it. I don't know about non-Apple products because I've never looked. There is a paid version, but it's not worth it to me. The free version has everything I need. And what I do is I create spreadsheets within Evernote. One, I don't want to spend a bunch of time creating a tracker. I just don't. I know that like it's fun for some people, it's not for me. And so using something that has a spreadsheet capability is great. I like that Evernote is available on my phone. It syncs between my phone and my computer. And so it's very easy for me to see. And I don't love Google Sheets for this thing because I like a mixture of what you could do on WordPress and Google Sheets in one. And so Evernote allows me to do that. Another thing I use is YNAB, or You Need a Budget. I use that religiously to track my budgeting. I used to use a paper system and both work well, but I decided to go back to digital last year. And I love You Need a Budget, and it is a great way to see the progress you're making because you could set goals within the program and it will tell you how much you need to pay each month to reach your goal, whatever that is. Or it will tell you when you're underpaying. It will track everything for you. And it's also just where I track my budget. And so it's very useful to see, you know, all my accounts, all the money in one place. And then third is a net worth check-in. Every quarter I do a net worth check-in. The idea came from One Big Happy Life, that channel. So I'll link some of their net worth videos, but Power Sheets gives you kind of this net worth page in the wildcard pack, which I believe you could download for free. So if you can, I'll link it. I just check in my net worth every month, and what I want to see is a significant decrease in debt and a significant increase in savings each quarter throughout the year. So as I pay off debt, I should see that happening. As I save, I should see that happening. And I love that big picture. It just motivates me. And so I really think that is a useful tool. And then last but not least, because I am being pretty ambitious right here, I think for the first 6 months, I know for the first 6 months, I'm going to do a no buy. I've seen a lot on no buy years, and that ain't realistic for me because when I move, I'm going to have to buy stuff, like a lot of stuff. I don't even have a couch. But for the first 6 months of the year, I can commit to a no buy so that I save as much money as I can, I pay off as much money as I can, etc. So if you guys want to know more about my no buy, about sinking funds, about a home down payment, about any of that stuff, let me know in the comments below and I will be sure to do a video. I will link some resources below as well. My 5-year financial plan is not based on any one person's method. I have read books about finance, and I do have a blog post sharing some of these books, so I will link that blog post below. Like I said, I also have a financial planner, so I check in with them because my taxes are beastly between all this stuff. So it's like essential that I have a financial planner and an accountant. Though they are straightforward in my mind, like I have straightforward, this is going here, I have particular accounts, I have particular ways I'm funding it and tracking it, I can tell you with all certainty that the no buy is going to be the toughest nut to crack because I've been living here for over a year, having very low expenses, and I'm able to just kind of spend as I please. However, I can't do that anymore. And this is a good exercise because when I do move, I won't be able to either. And so I am not looking forward to this no buy, but I do think it's necessary. One gem that this 5-year plan has taught me is that I have to plan financially for my current situation as well as my future. So that's what I'm doing this year. So in the comments below, share with me maybe your financial goal, your biggest one for 2021, and feel free to ask any questions. I know I threw a lot at you, assuming that you knew certain things. So definitely leave any questions in the comments below. Any video requests as well. And next time I'll share more with you within year 4 of my 5-year plan. Until then, be well, be safe, and find a bit of joy in every day.